When I was younger, studying for school wasn't really that hard for me. I was good at physics, chemistry, history, biology, and all of these other simpler subjects. However, you see, I come from Slovakia, and we have a really difficult grammar in here. And not just grammar, but literature also. And also learning about all the different poets that we had. Like, yeah, sure, that stuff is kind of interesting to me, since I like history. But at the same point, it's like, meh. I would rather learn it in my free time than at school, but whatever. I remember that every single time I was studying for a exam, like for my biology exam for example, all it took for me to learn it was just pay a little bit attention during the class and then look at the notes for like an hour in total. But you see, this was different with Slovakian language. You see, since I was really bad at it, my mom forced me every time to learn it for hours on end. Like I remember there was this one time when she forced me to learn it for 3 hours straight, or probably I think it was more. And it was in the night, but that was because of my fault, because I didn't want to study it earlier. And yet when the exam did come, I got a C, as usual. And not just exams in Slovakian language, but listenings also. You know, like when the teacher reads out this long text and you have to write it down, and then she reviews it and gives you a mark that is determined by how many mistakes have you made. Yeah, we had those a lot in Slovakia, let me tell you. I'm not good at them, like at all. When it comes to listenings, I'm just like my father, like my head teacher from primary school told me. But I guess I can't do anything about it just yet. But here's the thing. If I wanted to learn it, then I could just spend 6 months, like, deep learning about it, not doing anything else, and I would master them in just few months. That's how confident I am. But when it came to exams, those were my saving graces. So I had to find a way to leverage them so that I would fix my grade from listenings with them. And you see, slowly as I advanced in my self-improvement journey, I finally found the answer. It became more and more clear over time. And after almost 10 months of being on self-improvement and slowly refining this method, I can say that this has to be one of the greatest studying methods that I've ever created for myself. Because with this method, I don't have to study for 10 hours every single day. No, all I have to do is just look at the notes, and in around 30 minutes, I already know everything, and I'm confident that I can succeed in the test with little effort as possible. Over these past 10 months, I have used this method to gain so many A's that I cannot even count them anymore. Like, of course, there were some B's here and there, but that's just what happens when you're still in the education system. Sometimes a miscalculation happens, and some unfortunate situations like maybe the teacher adds something to the test that you weren't expecting and you just brushed it off as something completely unimportant. So in this video, we will go over 4 methods that I have used on this path to become better at studying more efficiently, and so that I have more time that I can dedicate to my off-school activities, like making these videos for example, or reading books, or watching long-form educational videos on YouTube, or go outside and go into the nature. The first method that you have to implement is improving your mental health. Because if you want to succeed in anything in life, you first have to improve your mental health. Because if you don't believe that you can do it, you won't. And so here's the thing. Every time that you feel like this method won't work for you, or that the teacher will give you something bad on the test that you won't remember and that will cause you to get a bad grade, or you just don't believe in the first place that you can get a good grade from that test, you always just have to smile and say to yourself that you can do it. Because you see, the self-fulfilling prophecy is real. The self-fulfilling prophecy basically states that however you view something, it will become true. Like for example, of course every day you will have some inconveniences, like life will give you tests and temptations. So if you just say to yourself in the morning that this day will be horrible, that something horrible will happen, that it's just gonna be really bad in general, then it will. But not because something significant has changed. The only thing that has changed was your attitude. And the self-fulfilling prophecy made it real. So why won't you leverage this self-fulfilling prophecy and just say to yourself that this will be the greatest day ever, that nothing will break your good mood, and that everything will work out in the end, and that you will get a wonderful grade from that exam. You can quite literally change your entire day with just the way that you view it. with the way that you look at it in the subconscious and with the conscious also. Now, of course, at first you will really struggle with this, but this is because of your low self-esteem and your lack in confidence and your lack of positive thinking also. So you need to start doing these two really healthy habits. You must start exercising, which I don't really have to get into. Basically, your muscles will grow bigger and you'll get more confident. And, you know, suddenly people will treat you with respect. You'll treat yourself with respect also. And suddenly this exam that you have coming up for your school, you won't look at it as something really significant because you will now have a business that you have to take care of. Because you now really trust yourself based on your really great physique. And the second good habit that you need to start doing is gratitude journaling. Basically, every single day when you wake up, you grab a pen and a notebook that you write in, not the computer, and you write, I'm grateful for X because of Y. And of course you replace the X and the Y with something. Like for example, you say, I'm grateful for clouds because they keep the earth cool, because otherwise the sun would have burnt us all alive. You get what I'm saying? Basically, everything that makes your life easier and everything that makes your life better in any kind of shape and way, you be grateful for it. And you do this every single day when you wake up. Because then you will bring this positive energy. Because when you are grateful for something, you naturally just bring smile to your face. Like every time that I state something that I'm grateful for in the morning, I just can't help but think about positive thoughts in my head. And this will slowly improve your mental health and your positive thinking in general. So you will find it a lot easier to use the self-fulfilling prophecy to your advantage. And slowly and surely, when you combine both of these habits with exercising that will give you the confidence that you need, and with gratitude journaling that will give you the positive thinking that you need, bro, this is an unkillable combination that you must acquire. And suddenly, you'll leverage the self-fulfilling prophecy so fucking much that you will literally be a whole another person. And as a last tip for improving your mental health before we move on, you have to also level up your discipline also. Discipline is the act of doing something that you don't feel like doing. Like for example, if you have that homework that you don't really feel like doing and you just feel like copying it from ChatGPT because you don't want to put in so much of your brain power and your energy into it, then you have to. You basically have to look that word up in the dictionary if you have a German class and you just don't know what does the word mean. You have to go the extra mile or that extra 100 meters. Trust me, leveling up your discipline as a man will greatly benefit you in the long run. Because in the future, when you start making online businesses, you'll find it a lot easier to just sit down and do the work. And in this case, discipline will help you a fuck ton with studying and learning and remembering. So you have to find some kind of an activity that you don't feel like doing and start disciplining yourself to do it every single day of your life from now on, okay? The second method that you must implement is having the mindset of your teacher. Basically, recall the past tests that you've written with her and try to come up with your own questions based on her thinking or his thinking. Basically, try to make this like a psychological profile of them, where you study them and you try to think about all the kind of questions that they could give you. And if it's possible, try to take different tests from the internet that have been done in the past. Then you can look at the questions from those tests and tweak them so that they correlate with your teacher's thinking. And also, if for whatever kind of reason you just can't figure out something on your own, like for example you're studying for your physics or math class and you can't work out an equation, for example, then just go ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them, because if they are actually nice, good people who actually enjoy their job, they won't refuse you. They will want to talk to you. Don't be afraid to ask them questions like you're their child, for example. Because I mean, like, that's what they are paid for you to actually understand the subjects that they are teaching. So you have the full right to ask them even hundreds, even thousands of, although I don't recommend asking that much, of dumb questions until you actually get it. They are your teachers. They are supposed to teach you the subjects. So if something isn't clear, just go and ask them. Just have the confidence. They won't yell at you. Well, unless they are actually quite retarded and they only do the job for money. But in most cases, they will be happy to talk to you. And they will actually respect you more because they will know that you actually care about the subjects and you want to actually get better in them. The third method is to only study for 30 to a maximum of 90 minutes at a time. Basically, don't take this a step further and don't study for like 10 hours straight. Not only did that never benefit me, but also because that is just extremely ineffective and it is really bad for your mental health, which your mental health always comes in the first place. That's why we went over it before talking about these other methods. Because you see, when you keep these studying sessions short and simple, then you will actually remember it longer and better and easier also. Like for example, when I'm learning for Slovakian language, like there's this subject about where to write an I and a Y, then I just read the page as many times as I can in those 30 minutes. I never study up to 90 minutes, but that's only when I really have to and when I really don't get the subject. Because if you just study it for 10 hours every single day, then you will feel overwhelmed. And when that exam actually comes and you want to study on it, when you have like 30 minutes until you actually are giving the exam, then you will just overwhelm yourself. And suddenly all of those negative emotions like your anger, your stress, your anxiety that you can't do it will all start coming in. And so when you actually study for 30 minutes every single day, you will be less stressed and have more mental clarity because you will be more relaxed. And so what do you do in these 30 minutes? Well, I just usually ask myself different kind of questions, like everyone else does. But there's an even better method that you can do during these 30 minutes that I definitely recommend you start doing. It is really overlooked, but it is really obvious. And it is to take something and make an analogy out of it. Basically tie it to a specific story that has happened to you. Like for example, if you're learning history and you're learning about Caesar, for example, then I just think to myself, oh yeah, I remember this. I learned this from this video that I watched over 6 years ago. Basically, you need to make an analogy out of it. Compare it to something. It's already implanted into your mind, like a specific story, a piece of knowledge that you already know. You get what I'm saying. And the fourth method that you must implement is to find the most effective place to study in. Basically, find a place for yourself that is non-traumatic, that is non-hyperactive, and non-relaxing. Basically, non-traumatic means like nothing bad has happened to you in that specific room. Like for example, if you have this really bad memory of your mother yelling at you in the kitchen because you got an F, for example, then don't study in that room because the body keeps the score. So when you try to study for it, you will have this unconscious feeling that will make you less confident about learning and actually preparing for that exam, and that you can actually do it. That's what I mean by non-traumatic. Basically find a place that doesn't hold any traumatic bad memory that has happened to you in the past. Then find a place that is non-hyperactive. Basically find a place that isn't connected to some kind of instant gratification. So basically, if you play video games most of the time and that is one of your bad habits, then don't study in your room because the video game is right there on your computer. That will distract you heavily. Or for example, if you are a YouTube addict, like I used to be, then don't study in the living room, because you will get so much tempted to just put away the notebook and just, scroll on TikTok, for example. Or if you used to be a binge eater, for example, then don't study in the kitchen, because that will just distract you. And lastly, find a place that isn't really harsh, but isn't really relaxing also. So this can be, for example, your classroom in your school. And since you've made it this far into the video, I'm gonna give you a last bonus tip, and that last bonus tip involves improving your focus, because every single method will become obsolete if you don't have a great focus. And I know that you have a great attention span since you've made it this far into the video, but let's make it even better, because I know you've got tempted to click on that short form clickbaity, hyper edited YouTube video, but good job for sticking through. Good job for investing with your time in your education. So the first way that you can improve your focus is to use the 4, 7 and 8 method. Basically, you breathe in for 4 seconds through your nose, you hold it in your stomach for 7 seconds, and then you breathe out for 8 seconds out of your mouth. This will calm you down. and it will activate the rational part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, and that will make you more rational and basically calm down your emotional side of the brain. The part of your brain that wants to click off this video and watch that Fortnite Let's Play, for example. Another great way to improve your focus is to give it a psychopath look. Basically, when you're trying to study, just look at it like a psychopath. I know that it sounds weird, but it works in the long term. Literally just look at it and quietly think to yourself that you're nothing and that I will learn you in no time and absolutely dominate the exam that I have coming up. And the third way to improve your focus is through a good habit called meditation. Meditation is a good habit where you basically sit down, you close your eyes, and you focus on one specific activity. It can be, for example, a specific muscle. Or the best way, and even the way that I do it, is to focus on your breath. So when you combine your meditation with a 4-7-8 breathing method, you'll get an unstoppable combination. Because you see, the point of meditation is to get you through this cycle of you being mindful, then slowly getting those thoughts to start thinking about something else. Then those thoughts will make you mindless. Then you will realize that you're mindless and you will become mindful again about the meditation. That's basically what meditation is to slowly bring you through this cycle, and that will give you more meditation points, and it will make you better at focusing and basically staying mindful in conversations with other people, for example. Okay, so remember, improve your mental health, have the mindset of your teacher, only study for 30 to 90 minutes at a time, find the most effective place to study in, and improve your focus. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you.